Well, shooters and reloaders out there, and 3 Circles passengers and members, it's Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone Express, and I'm very excited here because, as you see, we have these very fine Russian paradox slugs, and they shoot very accurately with 40 grains of blue dot powder. But the important thing is you gotta take this slug and join it to this proprietary Russian wad. It's a tail wad. And in order to get this joining properly done without damaging this compression zone right here in the wad, you need Nix clips. And Nix clips slip in here and support this as you're putting the slug and wad together, and then you take Nix clips out so you can use them over again, and so these will last forever if you don't lose them. But you gotta use a jig to hold the two together as you're putting the slug and wad together, and what you get is this. And this is what will shoot accurately because you've got an undamaged proprietary Russian tail wad on the Russian Paradox slug. But the reason why I'm making this video is because something has just come up that makes this even better. And that is, instead of a jerry-rigged use of a shell casing to be a jig, we now have this, which is made specially to hold the slug and wad together while we're joining them. And this is a jig that was made by James over at the ReloadersNetwork, and he's loads of bacon. But what he did was he used his 3D printer and made this. And what a wonderful item it is. The cap comes off, and you can actually store Nix clips in here because this still requires Nix clips. But what happens is you take the slug and you put it in, as you see, then you take Nix clips and put it on the wad like this to support that compression zone. And then that goes into the jig like this, and then you can go ahead and put the two together using Nick Ross's wad pusher that's been installed in my Lyman All-American 8 turret press. And this wad pusher is specially made for the Russian proprietary tail wad. So you take the jig that's made by James, that's already got the wad and the slug in there, and you can see Nix clips through that little aperture. So go ahead and place it on top of the ram, and then engage the wad pusher, and you can actually feel there's one click, there's 2 clicks, and then just a little bit extra to make sure they're together. And then now you just drop those out, take Nix clips off because you use them again, and there is your perfectly joined Russian Paradox slug and tail wad without any damage to the compression zone. Notice that the pillars are perfectly straight. And we have the proper seating because you got a little space in there between the bottom of the slug and the little platform of the wad. That's by design. And this jig can also be used to join the hydrant slug to the same proprietary tail wad. So very useful device is this nice slug wad jig. As always, we get pretty efficient doing this. Let me show you how we do this. So you go ahead and put Nix clips in here like this, and then you just hold it while you take the wad jig and just put it over a slug and capture the slug, and then like that, and you're ready to go to the press. Quick. And then you go right to the press. You go 1, 2 clicks, a little bit of tugging, and then Nix clips fall right in your hand. You got one all done. How long did that take? Doesn't take long to get a whole bunch of those done. Let's look at the accuracy at 25 yards. That's a 5-shot group. And that's a 5-shot group. And as you remember, you can load anything from 36 to 40 grains and you get the same performance. 40 grains of blue dot. And at 50 yards, the group's only a little bit bigger. It stays right inside this yellow. So what is that going to do to let you shoot that hog right there behind the ear or right in the eye socket, depending on what angle you're shooting at, and you save all that meat. So yes, I'm quite excited about this new creation from James over at the Reloaders Network. And this is really cool. This is not a jerry rig. This is a very high quality, very strong device made by 3D printing. Hats off to James over at the Reloaders Network. And if you want one, go ahead and contact him over there. But we got a term for what James did, same as the Flying Tigers back in 1940. And that is gung ho, James, gung ho.